Hello and welcome to today's video lesson. I am Ruchi Simon, Assistant Professor from BSS College, and today we are going to learn about relationship between government and NGOs. After going through this video, you will come to know about the NGO interface. You will get to know an example of NGO networking, the relationship of government and NGOs, and finally, we will come to the conclusion of the video. The NGO interface. If we examine the term interface, it means all the means by which interaction or communication is achieved by an NGO. Here on the screen you can see the NGO interface, the units with which the NGOs might be interacting. For example, the foreign government, international organizations, the community at large, research institutes, the central government or the local government. Now here on this screen you can see how the NGO interacts with the community at large. So down you can see a clip from the website of UNICEF. What is being projected in their website? This is a way NGO is communicating with the community at large. Similarly, towards your right side, you can see a clip from the annual report of Smile Foundation, the annual reports through which the NGO is trying to communicate with the community at large. This is how the NGO will be interacting with the community at large, either by physically meeting them, through the interventions that they are making, or otherwise through the internet. An example of NGO networking with the government specifically is here on the screen. This is coming from Akshay Patra Foundation, and in their annual report it is clearly depicted the state government and the union territories administrations with which it is interacting. So here you can see there are a lot of governments with which Akshay Patra Foundation is working. The networking with the government, a working example over here. But then the government is not the only agency with which an NGO interacts. It is also the funding agency. It is also the other agencies with which the NGO might interact. So taking the source again from Akshay Patra's foundation, the annual report, these are the various networking agencies, the various funding agencies which are there on the screen right before you. Again, it's not limited to the website of the concerned NGO, but it might also be presented in the media. So for Akshay Patra Foundation, again we can see how it is depicted in the Economic Times. A news clipping of it is present in the Economic Times here, where community service should be made part of education. This is the speech of the Vice President of Akshay Patra Foundation coming in the Economic Times. The relationship of the government and NGOs is also with the financial interaction that it makes. The government support which was provided to the Smile Foundation, again depicted in the annual report of Smile Foundation, is here before you. So the amount of fund which was there from the government side is there graphically presented here in their annual report. In fact, annual report 2021. The government and the NGOs at times also work together in a collaborative manner, and an example of that is here before you on the slide. Like the COVID mobile medical unit, this is again coming from Impact, that is the annual report of 2021 from the same organization, that is Smile Foundation. So you can see here MMU collects a sample for COVID-19 testing as directed by government laboratories. So there is a link which is there. The medical unit is of the Smile Foundation and it is being taken to the government laboratory specified by the government. So this is an example of how the NGO actually works with the government agencies. They might be working in a collaborative manner and the work might be distributed between NGOs and the government agencies. The government and NGO interface is also with the legal compliance which the NGOs have to make. So the major legal compliances of the NGO are of the PAN number, that is a permanent account number, a unique alphanumerical combination issued to all the jurist entities identifiable under the Income Tax 1961. PAN number is used as the national identification number, and every NGO should be having one PAN number. The TAN number is the second major legal compliance an NGO needs to follow. This is the tax deduction number. This number is a 10-digit alphanumeric number which is required to be obtained by all the individuals who are responsible for deducting or collecting tax at the source. So, for TDS purpose, what you require is the TAN number. In order to make this functioning smooth, the interface of the NGO and the government, to make it more better, there is a website which is being launched by the government, NGO Deepen. NGO Deepen is an interface which is introduced by the government to smooth this functioning, this interface between NGOs and government. It is a website that is maintained by Niti Aayog with effect from 1st January 2015. Niti Aayog invites all voluntary organizations or NGOs to sign up on the portal. The VOs or NGOs play a major role in the development of the nation by supplementing the efforts of the government. This portal enables the NGOs or VOs to enroll centrally and thus facilitate creation of a repository of information about VOs or NGOs, sector or state-wise. The portal facilitates VOs or NGOs to obtain a system-generated unique ID as and when signed. This unique ID is mandatory to apply for any grants under various schemes of ministries, departments or government bodies. So, with this unique ID, the NGO can actually work in collaboration with the government bodies, and it is a mandatory for them to have this unique ID in order to avail the various provisions and various schemes of the government. Compliance again is in this direction, the legal compliance, deductions under 80G, reporting foreign contributions. This is the interface of the NGO with the government. So, for what purposes this interface is primarily for? Deductions under 80G, reporting of the foreign contributions, reporting the foreign contributions, the custom duty and FCRA returns. For this purpose, you require an interface between the government and the NGOs, specifically the legal compliance. And an example of the MET compliances, especially from the Smile Foundation, is there on the right side of the screen. You can see there is a certificate of compliance which is being issued by the company secretary in practice, which certifies that the Smile Foundation has complied to their standards. So, what we have learnt in this recording, we have learnt about the NGO interface, which includes every stakeholder that is affecting or is affected by the operations of the NGO. So, it is either affecting the functioning of the NGO, the government policies, the provisions, the legal compliances are all affecting the working of the NGO, or that what is being affected by the operations of the NGO, like the community members. So, how is the NGO communicating with the community at large, with the people, with the masses? That is the NGO interface. The interface primarily works with the beneficiaries, the funding agencies, the other NGOs that might be the competitors or might be working in a collaborative manner, the corporates, the CSR initiatives coming in, and the government organizations. The NGO government relationship materializes chiefly as, for what purposes? The financial support, working together either in a PPP model, that is public-private partnership model, or collaborations, the legal compliances or other compliances. For these purposes, the NGO needs to interact with the government, and this is what we see in NGO government interface. So, that is all from my side. Till we meet next, keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.